Welcome to Sweet Picking for Boobs. Wait, noobs. If you want to be a sweep sultan, look no further. I've got the goods for you. Check out these wicked sweeps. Now that's what I'm talking about. You want access to all of my courses and tabs? Sign your soul away to me on Patreon. That's really the best deal if you want to reach level 666. Okay, let's get serious. Sweep picking can be kind of a daunting topic to get into. One of the most frequently asked questions I get from you guys, though, is how to sweep pick. So that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. Climb aboard my spaceship, and we're going to rocket off to planet Shred. Buckle up tight, because we're going 666 million miles per hour. As we fly through the universe, I see Sector 420 coming into view. Let's hydrate with a sip of WAP juice before we land the rocket ship down. Cheers. Ugh. Gross. Disgusting. Grab the shirt below. I'm telling you guys, I get the best reactions from actually mainly women when I wear this shirt out in public. They love to give me smiles. It's like an inside joke. Now, since today we're talking about sweep picking, which is a heavy topic, I need some double WAP juice. So we're going to be hitting some Maker's Mark whiskey. Oh, so good when it hits your lips. Cans of power engaged. And here we are in the most amazing program, Guitar Pro. Sweep picking for noobs, caged system arpeggio shapes. That's right, I'm going to uncage your understanding of sweep picking. It's funny, but after all these years, I still feel like a rat in a cage. Or should I say, a shred in a cage. If you're 117 years old like me, you'll remember that is a Smashing Pumpkins song. Now I'm going to tab everything out for you today to make everything clear. So grab your guitar, and this is the most important thing to understand when it comes to sweep picking, the cage system. So what is the cage system? Well, it just means a C chord, an A chord, a G chord, an E chord, and a D chord. Every single sweep picking example or passage you've ever heard uses some kind of derivative of the cage system. When you're seeing super shredders like Bradley Hall or Bernth tear it up on the fretboard with their super sweeps, it's all about the cage system. They may be using just a part of one of the forms or the whole form. Now we're going to start with the C word, or the C chord. C stands for C major. All right, that is an open position C major chord. Most of you should be familiar with this. If you're not, I don't know why you're studying sweep picking, but these are some of the first chord shapes that you learn. And the reason they're important is because, as I said, this is how we derive sweep picking patterns. Now the next chord is an A major. After that, we have G major. G stands for G sus. Everybody knows that. E is next. And then last one is D. Okay. Now let's label these chords real quick. See how smart Guitar Pro is. Usually pretty smart on this kind of stuff. Boom. Now when you take each of these shapes and take it out of the first position and play it further down the fretboard, you will see that they connect to the sweep picking patterns you use. Now, I want to start by demonstrating this with just partial shapes. We're going to do 3-string shapes. It's really not practical to learn the entire shape oftentimes because there's a very asymmetrical amount of notes. It'll be like 15 notes in the pattern. And it's just not realistic to like cram all of those into beats to make it musical. So when you hear, arpeggios in music, they're not voiced like guitar cage system shapes. A Mozart arpeggio or a Bach arpeggio is typically more of a one octave kind of thing. So we're going to use an A minor chord instead of these major chords because major chords are lame. Boo. Everybody knows that. Minor chords sound cooler, but it doesn't change the cage system. They're still built on the same pattern. So let's do eighth notes here. So I'm going to outline an A minor C form arpeggio. Whoops, hold on, that should be 10, then we're going down to 9. Okay, so that is it. Hold on, I screwed up one other thing here. Come on, Shred, get it together. We got to go back to that 8, and then down to 9. Okay, good. That is an A minor C form. So we'll put down here A minor parentheses C form. There we go. This is probably the shape I use the most. It's very common. And the other thing you have to, of course, take into consideration here is how you're going to execute it technique-wise. And since we're talking about sweep picking, we're going to sweep it. So what does that mean? Downstroke, right? Downstroke, downstroke. And then what most people do here is a legato section. So they hammer on and pull off. And then when you come down, they're upstrokes. So there's the articulation that you execute this arpeggio passage with. Excellent. Now let's take a WAP juice break. Is your brain exploding yet? Oh yeah. All right. Now next is the A form. Now the A form, again, is we're going to do a condensed version of it. Normally it takes up 5 strings, but I'm telling you, don't waste your time playing the entire shapes. I will show you the entire shapes, but they're not usable unless you're doing something really, really insanely fast, like a Jason Becker sort of thing where you're just cramming a billion notes into your beats. It's much better to start off with these, smaller derivatives. So 14th fret, that's an A note, and then we're going to hit this 13th fret on the B string, up to 12, pardon moi. Man, I'm struggling today. There we go. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. We got the beats right. Let's hear that arpeggio. Okay, so that's a root position A minor arpeggio. With the C form, we're starting in second inversion because this is an E note. And if A minor is spelled A, C, and E, that's the 5th of the chord, E. So we're starting on the 5th. But here, we're starting on the root, A. So you have A, C, E, A. And then it repeats and comes down. So this is practical sweep picking 101. I think everybody kind of starts by learning the entire patterns. And I'm telling you, it's just not the way to go because of the asymmetrical number of the notes. You end up having to, do these rhythmic gymnastics to make them fit. Articulation, downstrokes, legato, hammer-ons and pull-offs, upstrokes on the way down. This is like the classic one that you see in the Michelangelo Badio instructional videos, or he's repping it at the 12th fret. Okay, so this is A minor again, same chord as before, but this is the A form. C, A, G is next, the G form. G stands for Jesus, Guitar God. Actually have a Guitar God shirt coming out. I'm super pumped. It It just shipped the other day, so I should be getting it soon. Now, the G form is definitely the least common shape. That's okay. We still love you, G, sus. But it's just the way it is. You know, not everything is as popular. So let's see how this sounds. This is also a root, starting on the root. This one's, easily the most awkward to play. There's other sort of ways you can make patterns from the G form that are a lot easier, and I'll put those in the full tab. Anyway, let's work with what we got here. So yeah, downstroke, we'll do hammer on, downstrokes, upstroke, and then you're going to do another pull off or legato there. This is the A minor chord still, but now we're doing the G form. Guess what? We're over 50% of the way through these cage system shapes, which means we shall reward ourselves with some Wapian fluid. Cheers. You got to cherish the whiskey. Listen to all the flavors on your tongue just dancing around. Oh, I feel like I could breathe fire right now. Okay, where are we at? The E form is next. This is also an extremely common sweep picking pattern. And it starts like this. 5, that's a C note. We'll do another 5, E, up to A. Then we're up to 8, back to 5. Now, I'm talking numbers here, obviously, but it's important that you understand the notes that you're playing. This is really important. C, E, A, and then you're up to C, comes back down. And thinking in terms of scale degrees or chord degrees, you know, is important too. Like this is the 3rd, that's the 5th, that's the root. Okay, articulation, downstrokes on the way up, legato, upstrokes. One more time. Okay, so this is the, still A minor. Whoops. And this is the E form. Bingo, bango. Okay, we just have one more shape to go, which is the D form. D stands for damn, why does this shape have to be last? It's so good. And the D form is not very common. I don't see the D form used that much, but it's easily one of my favorite shapes. And I love the whole shape. The whole shape is really usable, but we're just sticking with these 3 string shapes. So let's see. It's really just similar to the C form. It's a part of the C form shape. All right, and that's how it sounds. Also starting on the 5th of the chord, articulation, down, down, up, up. Let's try that. A minor and D form. Okay, there's all the shapes. Let me just spread these out a little bit so we can see them. So you have the C form, the A form, the G form, E form, and the D form, but they're all in A minor chords, all the same chord. And again, they all come from, these shapes up here, from the cage system. it's super crucial that you're able to conceptualize what you're playing when it comes to practicing guitar. You know, like don't just memorize, you know, a shape for a scale, for example. Actually learn which scale degrees you're playing and what the notes are. That way you could play it on any instrument, not just the guitar, and you could write music with it so you have an understanding of it in your mind. Man, I'm getting allergies here. I'm allergic to sweet picking. Okay, what's next? Next, I'm going to blow your mind. Now, I don't typically like to make people's brains explode, but I will do that today. I'm going to show you the entire patterns. Most likely, you'll try to learn them and get frustrated and then just quit. And then you'll be like, that shred guy, you know, just didn't make any sense, but it really wasn't my fault because I warned you. I'm telling you, stick with these shapes that we went over. These are the shapes that I use. I don't ever use the entire Cage System sweep picking forms because, like I said, they just don't work when it comes to like fitting them into beats and bars. They're just not designed for that. I know we have this extreme problem with measuring eggplants in the guitar community. Our egos are quite large, so we try to play all the notes on all the strings and say, look at, you know, I've mastered this shape on all 69 strings. But that's just, no one cares about that. I'm going to be straight up honest with you. They really don't. I want to show you guys things that are actually musical. Okay, so let's do the C form. This one is pretty usable, but later on it gets ridiculous. Okay, so this is the full C form. All right, back down to that. I'm just going to make that rhythmically line up. So here it is. That is the full sweep form for the C form for A minor. So it's A minor, and this is the C form full shape. Let's go over the articulation. Down, down, down. I'm going down, straight down to hell. Legato, hammer-ons and pull-offs. Up. We're climbing the stairway to heaven. And actually, Stairway to Heaven does use this A minor arpeggio, but it uses the E form, not the C form. We're going to the A form next. Okay, let's get the right rhythm going here. And the A form is built off, you know, that A minor chord in root position. Okay, 12 up to 17. Back down we go. Okay, there we go. Now, here the articulation changes. So we start with the downstroke, but then we hammer on, and then you go down, down, roll that with your ring finger. This is another down, legato, and then we got the ups. Another up, and then pull off. Not a pull out, but a pull off. It's easy to get those two confused. Let's hear the full shape. It's quite gorgeous. It's not that it sounds bad. It certainly sounds good, right? But there's 13 notes in this pattern. It's just not natural to try to make music with this stuff. You'll figure out what I mean really fast if you try it. A minor A form. Okay, we're making great progress. We're roughly 50% through the full shapes. What's next? C, A, G. This one nobody uses. That's okay. You know, it actually does. I use this shape, but in sort of like a non-conventional way, and it's one of my favorite things. These are a few of my favorite things. Okay, coming back down to... wait a minute. No, shred, no. What happened? 2... Okay, here we go. 2, 3, 5. Okay. And the articulation for this gets messy. This is, this is the hardest one, I would say, to articulate. Down, 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 hammer on, down, down, down. You'll see what I mean when you try to play it. It's a mess. Okay, upstrokes for the rest of it. This is A minor still. All these are A minors. And the G form. How many notes is this one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh, okay, another 13. Another friendly 13-note passage. Now, I mean, I have nothing against the number 13. My birthday falls on October 13th. I consider it a lucky number. It's just not very lucky when you're trying to write music. Now, how you doing so far? You hanging in there? There's a lot of brain-busting knowledge happening here. Let's grab a sip of WAP juice. It's hot outside today. But then again, in the first plane of hell, where I live, it's usually pretty hot. 2 shapes left. We are to the E form. Here's how it goes. This is, play an E major chord in first position and then move it out of first position to the 5th fret. And that's what we're doing here. Okay. Come back down. 7s, 8, back to 5. Okay, here's how it sounds. Nice, long, flowing arpeggio. Articulation, downstroke, hammer on, down, 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 down. We're going straight down. Hammer on, pull off, up, 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 up. And another, a pull off there. Okay. So this is A minor, E form. Finally, the D form is the last shape in the cage system. And where does this start? We'll start it there. A, E, root 5th first. That's a little bit different. Share some commonalities, some common notes with the C form. And this is a really underutilized pattern that a lot of people don't use. Articulation, down, 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 hammer-ons, pull-offs, up. Whoops. There we go. Here's how it sounds. When you play these shapes, don't be afraid to experiment. And what I mean is, change some of the notes, be creative. I come up with some of my favorite ideas by making little modifications to these templates. So to review, we started with the cage system. These are the primary chord shapes you need to know to understand all the sweep picking that you hear. Whenever you hear sweep picking, I promise it uses one of these patterns. It's not like some crazy idea from another planet. It starts with something basic. And then what we did was we just covered the 3-note per string, or not 3-note per string, but 3-string arpeggio derivatives of the full shapes. And when you're playing these, feel free to experiment. These aren't set in stone in terms of, it's not illegal to change some of the notes and kind of come up with your own patterns. In fact, I would encourage you to do that. Now, once we covered the 3-string derivatives, we went to the full shapes that those are derived from. Now, these are a lot harder to use, but they're good to know. It's good to understand. The C form, how many notes are in the C form? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. Yeah, see, that 11 notes is just not a friendly number. It's got to be some kind of multiple of 2 or 3, and 11 is not that. Very asymmetrical. So hard to use. It doesn't mean you have a 12-inch eggplant, by the way, if you're able to cram all of these into one beat of music. That does not win you a Grammy. In fact, most likely will do the opposite, and the babes will run the other way. Then we did the A form, Michelangelo Badio's favorite pattern. The G form, which nobody uses, but I'll leave some tabs for this lesson, I'll flesh out some more ideas where I do use the G form, and wow, it's one of my favorite shapes to mess with. I've only kind of been using this pattern, I want to say, for a couple years or so. It took me a long time to figure out a good use for the G form. It took me a while to find the G spot, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. I knew that there was a joke in there somewhere. A minor, E form. This is a really common one. You see guys like John Petrucci repping this a lot. And then we went to the D form, the D word, the double D strings, if you're tuned to drop D. And this is a really cool pattern that's underutilized, so check this one out. Now here's the good news. I have a free music theory email newsletter that you can subscribe to. Free guitar tips and tabs, tricks. It's a great way to kind of passively increase your knowledge of music. But for those of you who are more serious, you can get my full music theory course down in the description below. And if you want to just completely blow your potential open and reach level 666 for all of my tabs, courses, and a direct line to me, all you got to do is sell your soul to me on Patreon. I look forward to seeing your sweep Sultan skills emerge soon. That was a lot of S words.